MMAWeekly.com. We're at the 2012 Fighters Only MMA Awards with Joe Benavidez. How you doing, Joe?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm going to skip right to it.
Okay.
Screw these awards. We just had the Joe B Awards on Twitter. Let's run over what we're. I couldn't keep up with some of the winners, but talk about some of the categories and some of the winners that we had in the Joe B Awards.
Yeah, I don't want to say screw these awards necessarily,
I was kidding,
hey, Joe B Awards. I mean, let's keep it real. These are the awards that matter. These are awards people want to know. These are the people. These are the important ones. I mean, think about it. Best technical clothing, best hair. I mean,
who won best hair?
What's the more important? Mike Pyle. The year of the mullet, they say. The year of the mullet.
Pretty damn smooth mullet.
It's
There's
impressive.
A lot of guys that try to pull those faux hawks off.
Yeah, his is impressive. Yeah,
it is. It really is.
Yeah, and then Roy Nelson actually won best and worst because it's such a fine line there. Best and worst hair because it's such a fine line there. So giving away
a fine line.
A fine line.
Fine line.
Yeah. So there was that. Some of the funnier ones were like fighter to most resemble a homeless person, and that went to Mike Chiesa. Fighter who most resembles a sex offender, which went to my next opponent, Uncle Creepy Ian McCall, with honorable mentions to Mackenzie.
Wasn't my boy, fellow Hoosier Eddie Wineland in that category, or was that a different one? That was,
I think someone like nominated him, but he didn't. But yeah, he didn't win one. So it was awesome, man. It's just awesome fun giving that out and kind of you know, just recognizing events and stuff that happened over the year that I think people remember and that I remember. And I did it last year, and I wasn't really thinking about doing it this year. And then with the awards coming, everyone was like, "What about the Joe B Awards?" And I was just like, "Damn, I guess I got to do this. This is for the fans." So I'm glad everyone enjoyed it if they did.
Well, I did. So even though I didn't know the winners, selfish plug. You know, 2012, crazy year, a lot of stories. Ronda was a story. Cancellation of 151 was a story. Anderson beating Chael, the huge pay-per-view numbers, all that stuff. When you look back on 2012, what are kind of things that stood out to you?
You know, all that stuff definitely did. You know, just the dominant champion staying dominant like John Jones, and GSP having that comeback was really huge to me because, you know, he didn't fight all year, and at the end of the year he comes in and shows that not only has he not lost a step, that he looked better than ever.
Fighting arguably the toughest guy he's ever fought.
And just coming off a layoff and fighting that toughest guy, like when he's in his prime and in the mix of things, and then he goes to fight Carlos Condit, he's ready for it. But he hadn't fought and had to go through rehab, then comes in and fights the toughest guy he can do. And when he shot that first takedown and his timing was still there, I was just like, this guy's incredible.
Fighting quick too.
Yeah,
so everything was working spot on.
Definitely. So that was one of the highlights for me.
And that's interesting. No one's brought that up, so that's a good one.
Yeah, I enjoyed like the Ben Henderson and Frankie fight was a real great fight for me to watch. I remember I was in Australia ready for my fight, and that fight I just remember was special to me because it happened the same week when I was already in Australia, and just watching those two inspired me for my fight the following week, you know, so that's why it was important to me. Nonetheless, I mean, it was one of the best fights of the year, but it's special to me just watching those guys go at it and just being like, man, that's what I want to be, and that's how good I can be. Like, they set a bar right there for me, and I went out there and I got the knockout the next week.
That's interesting. I don't think a lot of people would be used to hearing that Fighters do draw inspiration from other fighters.
Yeah, big time. I mean, every time I watch someone like that good, or, you know, for instance, like GSP or Anderson Silva, John Jones, it lets you know, like, that this stuff is possible. Like, that stuff you just did is possible. Like, there's no limit to, like, what you can do out there. And I kind of think that every time I watch guys like Henderson, Edgar, Jones, and Anderson Silva even more so.
And you talked about kind of the stories that were, and you did acknowledge Ronda. I wanted to get your thoughts on Ronda because she's up for Fighter of the Year. She created basically an entire new division. Is she your Fighter of the Year? What are your thoughts on Ronda in general?
I mean, not Fighter of the Year, you know, if that's the question, but thoughts on her in general. Amazing fighter, and I mean, just look at what she did for WMMA, you know, single-handedly, you know, built WMMA from Dana thinking that it didn't belong anywhere to it being a main event. Like, that happened because of Ronda, so that just says a ton about her. You know, if you've ever seen her fights, you know, you're obviously, I mean, they're so impressive, so it's just going to be awesome to get that out to even a bigger audience now in the UFC, so.
Absolutely. You mentioned McCall, you got him coming up, defending the belt. 2013, Joe Benavidez. What are we looking forward to in this year and everything that's going to be happening?
Well, starting off with my fight with Ian McCall, which I know is going to be a fantastic fight.
Absolutely.
He's a great opponent, an exciting fighter he's ready to get down, and, you know, that's what I like about him. So that's going to be a great fight. And other than that, man, I'm just kind of trying to improve, you know. The year and everything, like knowing, oh, this is the end of one year and the beginning of another is cool, but my goals stay the same, whether, you know, whatever day, month, or year it is. I'm always trying to get better and always trying to be a world champion. So those goals never really change, you know, and I make these goals in the middle of the year, you know, at the quarter of the year, or after every fight. So, you know, I go from fight to fight, not necessarily year to year. So my goals are always the same, man, just to keep improving and keep the fans happy, keep my bosses happy, and make my family proud.
Wise words from a wise man. Joe, enjoy tonight and best of luck in 2013.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.